Welcome to this Arnold Culliford knitwear tutorial on picking up stitches. This tutorial is part of our Something to Knit Together Winter Edition series, and the pattern that I'm going to use to demonstrate this is the Fond mittens designed by Natalie Warner. The mittens start with you knitting this cabled strip which will become the cuff of the mitten, and then you pick up stitches along this edge in order to work the wrist and the rest of the mitten up from there. There are two things to consider when you're picking up stitches. First of all is how you're going to space your stitches out so that they are evenly spread along the length of whatever you're going to be picking them up along. And the second is the method you're going to use to pick up the stitches themselves. So for that first point, sometimes it's possible to know exactly how many rows that you've got in a piece of work, and you can then work out how many stitches you're going to pick up for each of the rows as you go along, and you can keep track of it that way. That's a great method. If it's a longer stretch or something where it's not so easy to see the rows at the edge of your work, then this handy tip might help you out. You can use some locking stitch markers like these nice ones from Coco Knits, and you can simply fold your piece of knitting or use a tape measure to divide it up into equal sections. So here we've folded it in half, and we're going to pop the locking marker in there to mark the halfway point. And then we're going to fold each of those sections in half too, and pop in a marker there. Obviously, depending on the length of your edge that you're working along, you may choose to have fewer sections or more sections, whatever works best for you. But it's just really helpful to be able to keep track as you go along. And then if you've got any little adjustments to make, it's much easier to make them evenly as you go along rather than finding the ends that you're out by lots. So I need to pick up 9 stitches between where I am and that first marker, and in that section I've got 6 garter ridges. So for every 2 garter ridges I need to pick up 3 stitches, and I'm going to do that as follows. So here's my first garter ridge, and I'm going to just go 1 stitch in from the edge of the work, and I'm going to just insert my right needle tip just above that first garter ridge. 1 stitch in from the edge just above, and I literally just stab the needle through the fabric, wrap the yarn around and pull the loop through. I'm then going to go just below the next garter ridge, stab the needle in, wrap the yarn round and pull through, and then I'm going to go just above the next, that one I've just gone below, I'm going to go just above it, pull the yarn through. So there are my 2 ridges, and I've picked up 3 stitches. I've got 1 on the needle remaining from where I cast off the strip, and I'm going to repeat that process. So I'm going to go above the next ridge, below the next one, and then below the next one. That's given me another 3 stitches in 2 ridges, and then I'll just repeat that to the end. So 1, 2, 3. And there I've picked up my 9 stitches. It might look like there's a bit of a gap there, but it's all going to even out once I've got stitches on the top of it. I'm coming to the very end of my row now, and I'm just going to pick up these last few stitches above, below, below, And it's ever so easy if you realise that you've made a mistake or you've got too many or too few and you just want to correct a little section, you literally just have to pull the needle tip out and pull the yarn out, and then you can go again. Let's do that little bit again. 1, 2, 3, and then we come to the very end. And there we've picked up stitches all the way along that edge, and they're pretty evenly spaced. Obviously at this point you're now going to count your stitches and make sure that you have got the right number. If you're out by one, either one too many or one too few, then do bear in mind that most of the time nobody will notice that if on the next row you work you just either make an extra stitch or decrease a stitch with knit 2 together or purl 2 together. That's going to be completely indistinguishable for most people. So I definitely recommend that you live with a little bit of fudging if required. I do hope you found it helpful to see how I pick up stitches along a row end edge. These are the Fond Mittens by Natalie Warner, and you can find out more about Something to Knit Together Winter Edition by clicking the link up here and heading over to our website. Every purchase from our website helps us to make new video tutorials and to keep them advert-free for you. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel with the button at the bottom right-hand corner, and that way you'll get a notification next time we release a new video tutorial. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye-bye.